Welcome back. Freedom Youth Family Justice is a social welfare organization dedicated to assisting survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence. Their mission is to provide comprehensive support and services to survivors of abuse and exploitation, empowering them to take control of their lives and build a better future for themselves and their families. Joining us now to speak more on their efforts and services is their co-founder and CEO, Monique Riley. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, to start off, let's talk about what inspired the creation of the Freedom Youth Family Justice Center and how has the organization evolved since its inception?
Absolutely. So, what started is my passion, my own story. I'm a survivor of human trafficking, child trafficking to be exact. And I started it back in 2019 because I wanted to make sure that no other child go through what I went through. The work that we've started in was child education. We wanted to teach and educate the youth around what human trafficking was, what are some signs that they can look for, and then we wanted to make sure that they were going to be able to lead with the information. So we did a lot of educating the students as well as elected officials and the community as a whole.
Yeah. Tell me, how does your organization balance immediate crisis response with long-term support for survivors?
Yes, so we look at everything from when the client comes in or the survivor comes into our safe house or into our offices. We look at how we want to be able to connect with them. We make sure that we are monitoring, if they are actually staying with us. We're making sure that they are well taken care of. They have safe housing. Mental health is a big part of the work that we have to do with them. And we make sure that we teach them how to be empowered, not to stay in one place where they once were, but to grow beyond the trauma, to be able to look back and help other survivors like them.
Absolutely. And before we dive a little deeper into your organization, you do have an upcoming gala. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, it's the Stars of Freedom Gala. We are excited about this. This is our first gala, and we're happy to be able to announce that it's going to be at Eastwood Manor on January 24th and 5 to 7 p.m., 5 to 10 p.m.
Awesome. Tell me what can guests expect that night?
Yes, they're going to expect survivor stories. We'll also have tons of events and presentations. We're talking about the movement, where we were, where we started with just education to where we are going. We have safe housing now. We're also looking at trying to move things with legislation and supporting, real laws that would help our survivors. And so you're going to hear from other individuals who have supported us, like the borough president, who we are honoring, Alina Dow from the mayor's office, who have always supported us. And so, we are looking forward to a beautiful night of music, presentation, youth, and we're excited about it.
That's amazing. Yeah. That sounds like such a beautiful night. So congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. Going back to your organization, your services are a wide range from emergency shelter to job training. So tell me, how do you ensure that these offerings address the diverse needs of survivors?
Yes, so I believe that what we are doing is we're having wraparound services. Most survivors who come to us, they're broken. There are lots of things they're in need of. And so we make sure that we are, paying attention to what their needs are. How do we support them through case management? We support them through peer advocacy. We support them in and out of the courtroom, in their homes, through mediation, post-trafficking situations. We are talking to parents, making sure that they understand what happened to their child and what are some new ways that they can learn to nurture their children. So we're supporting them from different aspects.
I think that's so important because you're not just focusing on one aspect. You're really helping them grow and evolve as a person. And I think that's so important. And so with that, I want to ask you, what role does education and job training play in helping survivors rebuild their lives?
Absolutely. A lot of them have lost so much. They don't have the information, they don't have the skill set. And so being able to participate in workforce employment and job readiness helps them to get back in the groove of things. Sometimes they just lose tact. They're not the same person that they once were, and they need the skill set. I think about my own story when I came back out of that lifestyle. I didn't have the skill set. I didn't have anything to go off on. And it was tough. It was tough entering the job force, and it was tough understanding what was expected of me. I couldn't live up to it know.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for them to feel like they are part of the greater community and can give back in a major way. And so job readiness skills and all the other programs that we offer helps them to get back to where they need to be so that they can support themselves and the people around them.
Absolutely. And tell me, can you elaborate, number one, on, for our viewers who may not know, what trauma informed care is? And can you tell us how it shaped your approach to providing support?
Yes, absolutely. Trauma informed care is it's the first time you meet somebody and they're coming into the room. Most times they don't know what to say. You don't know what to say to them. But it's addressing the unknown in the room. You're addressing different needs they have that they may have not verbally said to you. You're making sure they have food. You're making sure that people are believing them and they feel like they're heard, they're believed, and they can trust you. You're making sure that you're connecting to that person and not just picking them up and dropping them, because a lot of people do pick people up and then they drop them where they are. And so it's taking them under your wings in a sense and letting them know that they're not alone and that we're here to support you in all aspects of your growth from here on out. So we don't just take on a new survivor, we stay with them. We have people that have been with us for more than 5 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, it kind of, all ties into the wraparound services and job training, just how you really do help build these people back up.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not something where it's like, okay, well, we focus on this one specific thing and then you're on your own after that.
No,
So I think that's so important. And also this month is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So what are some ways your organization is helping with raising awareness?
Yes, we are collaborating with Not on My Watch. We're collaborating with the mayor's office in different programs. We're hoping that we'll be able to share more awareness with parents through the local PA. I am also serving on the PA for Celia Cruz High School of Music, which is right next door. And so we are doing a lot of work with educating them as well, their parents and the students. I think it's just about spreading awareness. We have to educate the people who are more vulnerable to this, and that really is our youth.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, tell me a little bit about what role does public awareness play in preventing human trafficking? And tell me, do you think we're at a place where there's enough awareness? Should there be more awareness? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, public awareness is key. It is very important that our children, especially our children who are going in and from to school, to work, wherever they're going, that they're aware of what's happening, how it's happening in our community, what dangers to look forward to, what are the new trends. Without education, we are unable to save them, keep them safe. They're unable to save their friends. With teens, their words is their bond. And so if you go to a friend who's uneducated in that area, you might fall into something. And so we are definitely all about public awareness. We want to be able to spread it, rather it's digitally, online, or in person.
I think spreading the awareness online is so important because that's where teens live nowadays. So, to have that in front of them on their device, whatever social platform they're using, I think it's so important, and it is going to make a world's difference in that, spreading that awareness. And so continuing on, your mission includes advocating for systemic change. Can you discuss any policies or legislation that you support?
Yes, the Safe Harbor Law has been one of the ones that we started out with. As I said, we started in 2019. And the work that we have done around just speaking to elected officials about many of the issues that we see on the street. I personally go back in and rescue girls myself. And this is all throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City. And so I'm oftentimes seeing some of the trends that's happening with the young people who are falling victim to human trafficking or sex trafficking, to be exact, especially with the new migrants coming in. But what the Safe Harbor Law does is it says, you are not a criminal if we find you to be involved in any form of trafficking or anything that you're being coerced to do. Instead, we want to give you services. And I love that because when I was a child, it wasn't like that for us. There's so many laws that's put in place, but not all of them mirror the need of what survivors need and for those who are going through it at this time.
Yeah, I think the point that you just brought up is so important of if we find you, we are not going to, necessarily charge you because I think it's also why some people are scared to reach out for help because they're scared of being in trouble for it. So I think that is so, so important, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. Tell us a little bit about how you measure the impact of your advocacy efforts in creating societal changes.
Yes, we look at, what ways have we impacted the youth? We look at ways, if the child can tell us what they've learned in one of our training or put their hands up and say 3 things, how do people get involved in human trafficking, force, fraud, or coercion? We look at that. We look at the parents that we sit down with and we say, okay, did the child stay in the home? How did the child respond to that parent once they, came back home post-trafficking situations? We look at the child, if that child, didn't go back into the lifestyle, because we do lose some of our people that we save. We go out and we have the best intentions for them, but sometimes fear draw them back in. Sometimes there's other things that draw them back out. Rather, it's a need, it's basic needs, bus passes or just needing diapers for their child will push them back into the lifestyle. And so we try to see, have we met all of their needs, and how do we meet our survivors collaboratively? Are we working with them to make sure that they understand the work that we're trying to do, with them? We can't do it by ourselves. It's a 50-50 thing, rather they're children or adults.
Absolutely. And so your vision is a world free of abuse and exploitation. Can you tell us what gives you, that hope that this vision will become a reality?
I look at my story. I look at where I'm at today, and I see the person that I am. I'm not supposed to be here today, but I am by God's grace. And so I look at where I've come from, and I look at so many other survivors who are thriving, and they're going back in to save lives. They're building their own businesses, and they're building, programs that help the community understand what happened to them. And I just see that there is hope that we are able to overcome what we've been through to build other people up.
Monique, thank you so much for coming here today,
Yes.
for sharing your story and now paying it forward,
Yes.
and helping so many people in this situation
Yes.
as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To learn more about their services, please go to their website, freedomyouthfamilyjusticecenter.org. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum Channel 67 and Verizon Fios 33, or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. You can catch a new episode of Open with Darren Hymie on Wednesday and Rena Valentine on Friday. I'm Brittany Skyler, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.